Alright, bro. I'm gonna hook you up with this video on how to Clapton. This is gonna be the key to so many builds. You know what I mean? Like this is the one you want to learn, is how to Clapton. Alright. So you're gonna need your drill, right? I got a little 12 volt, nothing crazy. You're gonna need your fishing swivel. Alright. I got a big ass fishing swivel I use. You're gonna need some wire. I think for this build we'll do we'll take a strip of 26 and we'll hold on to that 36. We'll Clapton the 26 with 30. Alright. So here's your 26 gauge. Alright, I'm gonna put you down for a second. Hopefully you can see what's going on here still. Maybe. I definitely need a cameraman for real. Alright, so take your 26 gauge. Alright, this is just gonna be basically like enough for a single coil. Alright, you run one time around the spool, pull it tight. Okay, if you want to, you can spin it back around this thing to lock it in place so it doesn't unravel on you or whatever. Take your cutters, snip it off. Alright, so that's going to give you probably about 8-inch piece of 26 gauge. Take your drill, put it in the chuck. I like to put it square in the center of the chuck. Okay. On the wire, see there's one end that's like, this end's clean cut, and then you see this is the other end that was originally twisted off. See, it's got that kink. I like to put that into the drill itself. Alright, so you center that up in the chuck, tighten it down good. You're going to want to get a pair of pliers. I use these needle nose a lot. They're no teeth. See what I'm saying? It's flat. These will come in handy for other builds later on down the road. We ain't worried about that right now. But grab your open end, clamp it in there. Alright, I like to do mine in forward. It doesn't really matter which way that you go. Okay, so you clamp it in there, pull it tight, and as you're pulling tight, spin the drill. Okay, now look, perfectly straight. Alright, now you get a perfectly straight piece of wire. Alright, since this is such a little piece, I'm not going to use the swivel. Okay, but if you were to use the swivel, alright, so you got your hook end, right? And then your other little swivelly end. Basically just put this in the swivelly end and bend it around a couple times to lock it in. Take your hook end and hook it onto something. I usually use this little desk magnifier that I got for like the super small builds. I'll hook it in the spring of that, and that'll hold it and basically just let me spin it out. Okay, now I'm gonna do this one freehand for you so you can see how to do it freehand. It's a cake. It's not really that bad. Alright, so I got my 30 gauge. It will take some getting used to, and there's a good chance that you may drop your spool. If you want to practice without doing it this way, you can just undo about, I don't know, I would undo about 4 or 5 times, maybe 6 times off of the spool. Alright, so probably about an arm's length, and then snip it, and then you just have a loose piece of wire, so you don't have to worry about the spool coming undone on you if it falls, because it will fall. It's happened to me before a few times. Alright, so this is how I do mine now. I got a bit of practice, so alright, so I just unhooked it from here. Here's the part that's hooked in the spool. Here's the other part that's like, you know, the other end of the wire that's buried. I just roll that back under here so it's out of my way. Alright, so you got your straight piece of wire here. What you want to do is, if you can, usually you can, somewhere's in the chuck, there's usually a crack. If not, it's not a big deal. You can just undo the chuck and then put the two ends together. A lot of people twist them. I don't really do that. Just kind of fucking put the wire into the chuck, alright? You're never going to be able to go right from the chuck into a Clapton. It never happens that way. Alright, so you need a little starting room. So I like to just go around here once or twice, give myself a little room. Alright. That's going to be the hard part for me to show you. Alright. So I just went around here a couple times, okay? Now what you want to do, you see how I got the wire is in between my finger and my thumb, right? I like to leave a little thumbnail. That really helps me. That helps me with the, you know, holding it or whatnot. And basically, I do mine in forward. You can do it in reverse too. It doesn't really matter. Whatever's more comfortable for you. Now, I like to take my pinky, and sometimes I'll use this finger, and I just kind of hold my reel like this. Okay, so I got my pinky looped on the inside of the spool, and I just kind of hold it there, and I use that for tension as the wire's feeding to keep it taut. Okay, so what you want to do is just start spinning the drill, and you'll see the wire lock up on itself. Okay, if you fuck up, it's cool, don't worry about it. Alright, but you see, okay, you see how it started? Let's see if I can find something now. See how it started? It's laying on itself. Okay, so I just have the wire pinched between these two, and I'm just kind of using my finger to guide along this wire, but the Claptoning wire will push itself out. You just have to follow with it, okay? Now, you can go slow like that, and I recommend that for you since you're not, you know, just like your first time doing it and shit. Once you get good at it, you can just fly through it. Alright, so, you know, try not to stop, because it's always harder to get started again once you stop, till you get the hang of it. If you fuck up, don't stop. Just keep going. More than likely, you'll wind up with at least a usable section you can get a single coil out of. But sometimes it's just one little spot that gets fucked up, and you can get duals out of the whole length. You know, it all depends. So, yeah. Alright, so basically we're just gonna go around. Alright, just kind of let the wire do its thing. And you'll see, it just pulls itself. Once you're fast enough, you know, you've done it a while, you can just hammer down. Like this drill's wide open right now, and you see it's just whipping out real fast. I would recommend that you do it slow because you're new. Also, like I said, you see, I'm just kind of doing a little tension here and a little tension on the spool, using my pinky to hold the spool. You'll notice this section will start to bow, and then once I start getting like out here, it'll start to want to swirl. You can let it swirl, but if you let it swirl too much and it gets too floppy, it'll bind up on itself and fuck that section of wire up. So you can either slide the drill back as you're doing it to try and keep the tightness of it. I don't recommend pulling your hand forward because that'll put a space in your Claptoning and fuck that up. Alright, or you can just slow the drill down a little bit, and it'll slow that flopping around down, and then you can speed back into it, and it'll do it again, but it won't be for a couple minutes. You know what I mean? Like at first, you probably won't have that issue because you'll be going slow, but once you start going fast, it gets annoying, and you know, you'll figure it out. So basically, I mean, this is all there is to the Clapton. It's not really a big deal. You know, I mean, you'll probably fuck a few up at first, but once you get the hang of it, you're good. Once this wire gets a groove, just let it do its thing, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not even looking at it. I know what it's doing. It's Claptoning in itself, you know what I mean? You don't really have to pay too much attention to it. At first, yeah, but, you know, once you get good at it, you're good. So basically, now you see how it's like getting slacky here? That's going to happen, you know? I mean, you can try and pull it tight, but it never lasts because as this is growing out, it's pushing it back in. But, you know, like I said, just slide the drill back and you're good. But it really doesn't take long to Clapton a wire once you get it down. I mean, I could do 2 foot in no time, you know, a minute maybe. I mean, you can either finish the roll out to the end of the wire or stop. I like to finish it out, and then it cuts itself off, okay? So you see my spool's disconnected, my Claptoning wire is disconnected, okay? So I'm just gonna lock this back in, pull my little wire from down here back in and tighten it down, all right? Now that's not gonna go anywhere. And you see my wire's Claptoned all the way to the end, okay? Now it's not see, from where we started it, you never get a full Clapton, okay? So you're gonna have to snip that end, but you can pretty much go right from this end. And you see, I'm not really sure if this thing is focusing or fucking what. Let me see. Try and get it a little closer to. Alright, let's do it this way. So yeah, you see how it's fucked up here on the end, right? You know, so you never get a full run at it, but the whole way down, it's just Clapton. So, all the way to the end. So now I got, I don't know, 8 inches or so, 10 inches of usable Clapton. All right, no big deal. You just take it out of the drill. Yeah, so just take it out of the drill, and you got your wire. Cut the fucked up end off, and you can coil it however you like. I mean, all depending on what it is. Usually I like to start off when I'm making the coil, you know, I'll start my lead, I'll do my wraps. Usually my standard's pretty much a 5 wrap, so I'll do a 5 wrap, and basically you'll wind up, I'll do a 5 wrap. I don't know if you have an ohm reader, but like I like to leave my setup like this. I'll do my 5 wrap, and then I'll put, you know, one end in a negative and a real long end. You know what I mean? I'll just leave hang out the back, and I'll tighten these down a little bit. Don't, you know, murder it. Just snug it up, and then check it and see what it ohms at. If you want it lower or higher, you know what I mean? If you're running dual coils, obviously whatever pops up here, cut it in half, and that's going to be your reading. If you want it lower, do more wraps. If you want it higher, do less wraps. And good to go. So, enjoy. Let me know how you make out, man. I want to see another video back. Show me something.